Alright. Alright. Shalom, Yasharallah, shalom. Peace, Israel. Before I get started with this lesson, I want to give all the praises, all the honor, and all the glory to our Heavenly Father and His only beloved Son, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, at the water, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, for another beautiful day. Another blessed day here on this planet Idan, and the water. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai for waking us up this morning to His Yipa'ah, beautiful royal family, and the water. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai for His everlasting grace, mercy, and favor that He has shown bestowed upon us here in these last days, and the water. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai for the spirit of life, the breath of life, the Rakakwadash, the Holy Spirit that He had breathed into our nostrils once more, causing us to remember ourselves again here in the land of our captivities, and the water. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai for my sefus, that apostles and elders and G-Master rule well, and the teach well, and the branches that teach us just like them, and be some blessings to the Bayaf Dawah that I said David, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, man. Shalom. So yours truly back with another, on the road, Spirit hopped on me, wanted me to do a quick lesson because I feel some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? And hey, when yours truly feeling some kind of way, hey, that's why the water Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, that's why he blessed me with a platform for me to just, push the button and just express how I feel in righteousness, as long as it's, according to thus saith the Lord, the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and it's spiritual too. It's just a quick testimony or whatever. At the plantation, I want to talk about this, man, because it was spiritual. It was really extremely spiritual. And once again, I know my father. My father's, he's beautiful, he's complex, and he always, I believe he always communicates with his children, with his beloved, I believe. Yahweh Dazah, we have that majestic number, and you gotta, I don't know, you just gotta have that, you just gotta build your spiritual relationship, your spiritual connection with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and while with Kakwadash. So it's like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I could hear the spirit, and I could also hear the warnings, like the it's like an alarm, and it wasn't like a literal alarm. It's just what happened, at the plantation, right? So I'm gonna break it down, Bram. So I'm at a hospital, right? And like they had sent out a notice or whatever saying that it's, we have to take this flu shot or whatever, right? You gotta take a flu shot because we're around the hospital, right? And I'm sure, people that work at a hospital or clinic or whatever, they know, I don't know why they require you to take like a flu shot or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And I remember when I first got interviewed for the gig, the lady did say, "Oh, it's a requirement, or it's mandatory, right, that you have to take this, the flu shot." I was like, "Take what? Who, me? Not me, I was like, "Take what? Take what? I ain't take anything like that since I was a little youth, Now that I'm older, I don't take none of that, Get checked, boom." I told him that, and you know what I'm saying? She was basically like, well, I forgot exactly what she said, but she was basically like, well, I mean, if you, if it's like religious reasons or anything like that, you could like write it down. I was like, I mean, I wouldn't say religious. It's just that I'm not dealing with needles, and I'm not dealing with flu shots. I'm not dealing with nothing, bro. Nothing. I'm not dealing with none of that. All right. I'm not, no, bro, you're not, no. It's just, I'm not dealing with it, bro. I don't know what's in that. Talking about some, it's so that you could be immune to the flu or protect you from getting the flu. But here it is, Mind and Mind, we were talking about it. Mind and Mind said when they get poked, because they had to take that shit, Mind and Mind talking about when they get poked, they feel all sick and fuck, they feel all weird. I'd be like, yeah, Yeah, why you feeling like that after you take that shit, huh? And, but they want me to put that shit in my temple. They want, really? Oh, here it. Okay, so boom. Told them from jump, I'm not dealing with that. Boom. Here it is. They came to me again, sent out a notice telling me something. Oh, if you don't take this flu shot that is required to be taken by this date, they're gonna what? Fire you. They're gonna terminate you from the job site. If you don't take this shot, it is mandatory. It's a requirement. It's mandatory. That's what they use, right? Bram. And all this is happening around me, and I'm standing firm. I'm not budging. I'm not moving. I told him, look, I'm not taking that. The co-workers talking shit. Co-workers talking shit, saying, oh, I'm not taking that. Well, you know how Jake is. Oh, I'm not taking that. Well, I don't give a fuck, right? Jake talking big shit, right? They ain't taking it, right? Boom. Now, the pressure is starting to squeeze even tighter. Now you see me, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't worried about it. Because one of my uncle them, he's a doctor. He's a certified doctor, and I used to work with him when I was younger. You know what I'm saying? So, and I just told Unc, yo, Unc, just write me off, just write me off a notice, you know what I'm saying, your check, because he can do that, and I'm not gonna lie, during Catalyte 19, shit, that's how I was able to go to and fro. That's how I was able to hop on the plane and go back home to Rock, your check, to the Virgin Islands. That's how I was able to, still travel around C-19s, because my uncle, he would just write like an excuse to why I couldn't, an excuse to why I couldn't take a vaccine or whatever. And I up the road from there, I showed them mine at TSA or whatever. When I land Rock, showed them mine at the front. Yeah, I've been excused. I gone again. So I wasn't worried about it. So Unc just wrote me an excuse letter, and they left me alone after that. Call halal Yahweh Shimi Al Shai at the Wadi Yahweh Shimi Al Shai. And like I said, even then, like, it was still spiritual, because it's like, I'm still standing 10 toes regardless. I'm not taking that shit, bro. Looks like I'm gonna have to look for another job or get another job. But look, I'm not done. So the door started, the pressure, it started to get tight, started to get squeezed, because they started to come down on Jake, they started to come down on the workers or whatever. So that they had a list, right? And they warned them one more time, if these people on this list, they put it so that everybody could see it, these people on this list, Jake talking that big shit, but when it got serious, Jake started second guessing himself, bruh. Look, so boom. So, okay, they had another notice. They had the names of the people, they ain't take the flu shot. And they was like, you have until such and such day. And if you don't take it by that day, you're going to get terminated. You were on the spot. So I was like, wow, these man serious, man. These man really making these man take this fuck so that they, just to work here. I'm like, there is no way. Here it is, 2026, right? I'm like, there is no way this is happening right now, bro. There's no way. You see, this is how I know the spirit was talking to me. Like, just because I'm like, what? You check, and the spirit was talking to me. I'm like, oh. And before, Jake thought it was a joke. Jake thought it was a game. Like, they weren't gonna come down even harder about that shot shit. Oh, now the pressure on. Now your job's on the line, right? Oh, they threatening your job, and I'm like, look, they threatening the job. Now what you gonna do? Are you gonna keep your integrity? You gonna stand on what you was that shit you was talking, saying you weren't gonna take this, you ain't gonna take that, right? Bram. Man, a lot of mine folded, bro. Oh my goodness. I was like, Lord. Nah, I know what's going on. right? Not too long ago, I asked them mine, you take the flu shot? You wanna know what Jake told me? Jake said, man, I had to, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I you know what I'm saying? I had to, you know? I'm like, wow. I'm like, what you mean you had to, bro? I tell myself, man, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I ain't really want to go back and forth with them folks, and you know what I'm saying. You know, I can't really afford to lose a job right now. Like, and it's already hard. It is to get another job. I was like, man. And then I was hearing other man. I was asking other man why they took it, and like I said, in similar things. I'm like, wow. So basically, they threatened the job, and you did. Oh, they had, because at first they had passed out like religious forms or whatever to why you couldn't take it, but them man wasn't even taking that, bro. They wasn't even taking your religious form or whatever to why you couldn't take it. I was like, oh, what they say? They said they wanted more information on why. Like they wanted more reasons why. Like, you know, they just wasn't accepting it, bro. I was like, wow, bro. Then why did they pass it out if they're not accepting it? So boom. So Jake, like, yeah, man, I ain't gonna lie. I just went out here and took it, bro. You're like, yeah, man, I took mine yesterday. You know? Oh yeah, man, I took mine the day before. Yeah, man, I took mine today. I'm like, you took yours today? Oh, that's where you were? Oh shit. Damn. So how you feel? He told me, I'm not gonna lie, bro. He was like, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I don't know why my arm feels so sore. And then, like, I ain't gonna lie, like, I felt kind of weird too. I was like, see, bro, like, that shit is crazy, bro. Like, I was like, see? Like, that's the shit I'm talking about right there, bro. Like, there's no way. Like, here it is. Oh, it's supposed to keep you from the flu, but mine saying after they take that shit, they get sick. I'd be like, wait a minute. I thought that shot is so that you don't get sick. Why are you getting sick, like, after you take it? Like, 24, 48 hours later after you take it, why are you getting sick? Why do you have the flu? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know? So I'm like, fuck. I'm like, bro. I'm like, and this is what the hospital is forcing our, you know, and you know, I was talking to, you know, other workers or whatever. They was like, hey man, they're forcing my hand. Now some people kept their integrity. They was like, nah, they just gonna have to terminate me, bro. I'll be alright. I already, you know what I'm saying? I already got another gig, you know what I'm saying? Some people kept their integrity or whatever. And then, you know, we was talking, and, you know, we was just like, one person was like, yeah, man, they forcing my hand. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? Hey, I'm going to just let them do it. I was like, well, this decision is made. You know what I'm saying? And Bram. So, yeah. So, yeah. And then, like, the other Jakes, they folded. The other Jakes, they took it. You know, they say, yeah, bro, you know, I can't afford to lose a job, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't going to take it, but, you know, I was like, wow, bro. So what I'm saying is that shit is hella spiritual. And the hour of temptation, that trial of your faith, that is very real, man. Like, that shit real as hell. And like I said, the quiz, the pop quiz. And I didn't even know that was a pop quiz, but it was a pop quiz, even though, you know, that was around my spiritual awakening, but I didn't even know it was a pop quiz, but it was a pop quiz. Don't matter if I knew it or not. That came upon the whole planet Earth in 2020. You see? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, wow. And then here it is, 2026. I'm seeing something similar on a small level. I'm like, what? These man really forcing our hand. Like, they really putting the pressure on me, son. Now, your job on the line. It's either you take it or you're done. You get terminated. I'm like, wow. Jake started folding, bro. Left, right. Jake folded. I'm like, you took it. That's where you went? Damn, bro. These man went take that fuck. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, this is crazy. This is too spiritual. And I'm just like, these man had no idea. Like, that shit is spiritual as hell, bro. And then I just started praying, and I'm like, Lord, that hour of temptation is real. And that's why I'm making this lesson. The hour of temptation is real, and that is fastly approaching. And these people, oh, you keep talking about the mark of the beast. Yeah, we gonna keep talking about it. You have no clue. You really don't understand how serious that prophecy is, man. And I'm like, bro, yo, and then we was talking, and I'm like, the guy was like, yeah, man, this is just the world we're living in. Like, they're literally they literally are forcing us to take some shit that will potentially mess up our temples. And I was like, see, so now you're getting it, right? Oh, they want to keep us. We was just talking, and they was like, yeah, they want to keep us from the natural remedies, from the natural plants and the natural herbs that's grown from the earth naturally. They want to keep us from that and give us pharmaceuticals and shit. Give us pills and shit. You know? Shit that only work temporarily. It don't really heal you. You know? So I'm like, yeah, bro. Hey, but this is where we at. This is where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm like, why? I'm like, see, and these mind thinking that Charagma prophecy is a joke. You got mind saying, you know, they ain't dealing with that now. Hey, bro, and then in that day when they threaten your livelihood and your job, right? Your house, your car, right? They threaten that fuck. See? Now the pressure's on. Now what do you? But really, that's the Lord. Really, that's Yahweh Shema Shai testing you. Really, that's the King testing you, using the tempter. But you know that you know. But it is what it is. You know. But I just seen it. I'm like, Lord. I'm like, oh my gosh. The water, Yahweh Shema Shai. I have the eyes to see and I have the ears to hear. I'm literally like, this shit is real. That shit is so real. I'm like, these man folded left, right, going down. I'm like, oh my gosh, that shit is crazy. So yeah, man, I don't want to make this too long. You know what I'm saying? It was just, I had to get that out of my chest. I'm like, yo, that shit real, bro. And like I said, even people had dreams. I had visions of mine lining up to take that chip, bro. You lining up to take that? Why? Hey, okay. They must ain't read Revelation chapter 14. But like I said, but hey, the water Yahweh Shema Shai again for the inspiration, and Yahweh Dazah, this was, you know, edifying or motivating or comforting to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, and the water Yahweh Shema Shai again, you know, for the spirit, you know, and you know, shalom to the Bayav Dawadah, to David the elect, you know, shalom.